Tối ngày 5 tháng 11, trường MIT SLOAN School of Management đã tổ chức một buổi gặp gỡ tuyển sinh tại thành phố Hồ Chí Minh, đánh dấu chuyến thăm đầu tiên của đoàn tuyển sinh MIT đến Việt Nam sau một thời gian dài. Sự kiện này là cơ hội tuyệt vời cho những ai tò mò về MIT SLOAN, ngôi trường nổi tiếng với những chương trình đào tạo mang tính đột phá và sáng tạo. Sự kiện có sự góp mặt của hai diễn giả chính, bà Donna Sherry Levinson, hiệu phó phụ trách tuyển sinh, và bà So Song-gon, giám đốc sáng kiến từ thiện khu vực châu Á, văn phòng quan hệ đối ngoại trường MIT SLOAN School of Management. Cùng với các cựu sinh viên thành công của MIT SLOAN, bao gồm chị Anh Vũ, đến từ Delta West Group, ông Albertine, chủ tịch CH Technology Corporation, và anh Hùng Lê, thành viên hội đồng quản trị, Hợp tác xã Nông nghiệp Công nghệ cao Long Thành Phát. Họ đã chia sẻ những thông tin về chương trình học thuật, môi trường học tập tại MIT SLOAN, cũng như những trải nghiệm thực tế mà các cựu sinh viên đã có sau khi tốt nghiệp. Chương trình đã diễn ra sôi nổi với rất nhiều câu hỏi được khách mời đặt ra, thể hiện sự quan tâm sâu sắc đến các cơ hội học tập tại MIT SLOAN. Đại diện tuyển sinh của MIT SLOAN đã giới thiệu các chương trình MBA toàn thời gian, MBA SLOAN Fellows 1 năm, thạc sĩ tài chính và thạc sĩ phân tích kinh doanh. Bên cạnh đó, họ cũng chia sẻ về quy trình đăng ký và cung cấp những mẹo hữu ích cho các thí sinh đang có ý định ứng tuyển. Sau phần giới thiệu, một buổi kết nối giữa diễn giả và khách mời cũng diễn ra, tạo cơ hội cho khách mời giao lưu và trao đổi với các đại diện tuyển sinh và các cựu sinh viên thành đạt của MIT. Buổi gặp gỡ thu hút gần 100 khách mời, trong đó phần lớn là sinh viên từ các trường trong nước và quốc tế tại thành phố Hồ Chí Minh. Bên cạnh đó còn có những người đã đi làm nhiều năm và mong muốn nâng cao kỹ năng qua các khóa học mới. Đặc biệt, một số học sinh trung học và phụ huynh cũng đã đến tham dự để tìm hiểu về các chương trình tuyển sinh của MIT SLOAN. Trước đó, chúng tôi cũng đã có một buổi phỏng vấn hai khách mời đại diện của MIT SLOAN để tìm hiểu chi tiết các thông tin và các tiêu chí tuyển sinh vào ngôi trường danh giá này. Mời quý vị cùng theo dõi ngay sau đây.
Hello everyone in a world where higher education and global collaboration intersect more than ever. Institutions like MIT SLOAN School of Management are paving the way for meaningful connections across borders. As one of the most prestigious business schools globally, MIT SLOAN has continually fostered an environment for innovation and leadership. And today we are honored to welcome two distinguished representatives from MIT SLOAN, Ms. Donna Sherry Levinson, the Assistant Dean of Admissions, and Ms. Su Wong, the Director of Philanthropic Initiatives for Asia and Principal Gifts in the Office of External Relations. And together they'll bring a wealth of expertise and insights into the school's strategic ambitions in Vietnam and in the broader region. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Ms. Donna, first of all, could you share with us your purpose, your main purpose of your visit this time?
Oh, sure. And first, let me begin by thank you so very much for the opportunity to spend some time with you. So from my perspective, we are here in Vietnam today recruiting students across all of our graduate degree programs. We are hosting an event tomorrow evening here in Saigon, and then on Thursday evening in Hanoi. And there, with the help of some of our alums, I will share a little bit about the MIT SLOAN experience, as well as give application tips on how to apply to each of our programs.
That's great. And we'll get into the recruitment policy or plan later on. But could you just share with us a little bit of the plans and visions of MIT SLOAN into strengthening its presence in Vietnam?
So I think I'd like to begin with a little bit about the school itself, if I could. So MIT SLOAN is a mission-driven school. In fact, MIT is a mission-driven school, and MIT SLOAN falls, really supports that mission. And, in my own words, that mission is truly about identifying and tackling the world's biggest and most complex problems.
Right.
And in order to do that, we need to have a global presence, and we need to have a global student body. So we have been and continue to be very focused in attracting some of the best and brightest students from all over the world to actually attend our graduate programs.
And is there any new initiatives in the pipeline to foster a deeper connection with Vietnamese students and professionals?
Well, so for that, I'd actually love to turn over to my colleague, Su to talk about that.
Sure. Yes, please, Mr. Su.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Well, Donna is really in charge of admissions and trying to deliver the message of what MIT Sloan is all about for students here in Vietnam who are interested in applying to MIT Sloan. I am focused on philanthropic initiatives and in the Asia Pacific region in particular. And one of the things that I am focused on is a new initiative that is aimed at leveraging the over 2 decades of activities that we've had in the ASEAN region. And there was an event last week in Bangkok that basically was the celebration of the opening of our regional office. And it's located in Bangkok, but it's a regional office.
Right.
And
for Southeast Asia?
For Southeast Asia. And it's really a physical presence to demonstrate MIT Sloan's commitment to this region. Part of why I am here is really to understand the needs of the people here in Vietnam and what things that we can be doing together to help the country in terms of what you're trying to do with economic growth. So the ASEAN initiative is really all about leveraging our faculty research, our students, student engagement in this region. MIT has emphasis on action learning. So we've had over 800 students that have come through this region in the last 20 years involved in action learning teams. We have very active partnerships in many countries, and we hope to expand. In particular, here in Vietnam, we're interested in learning more.
Right. And more about the recruitment policy, Ms. Donna. So first of all, very foremost, what quality does MIT Sloan look for applicants from Vietnam?
So if I could, I think I'd like to expand that because to be honest, as much as we're looking for a global student body, we're really looking for very similar qualities across all of our students. So when I'm speaking to a prospect and perhaps an interviewee, I'm fundamentally asking myself 3 questions.
Right.
First and foremost, can he or she do the work? Have they demonstrated the ability? Is there evidence of their ability to be successful in an MIT Sloan classroom? We would never want to admit somebody who hadn't demonstrated that ability. Now, there's many ways to do that, though. It could be through your schooling, your undergraduate degree, or your undergraduate GPA, or if you have a graduate degree. It could also be, though, through your work experience and the type of work you've been doing. It could be through standardized tests you may have taken, like GMAT or GRE, certificates and certifications that you have done. There's actually many ways to demonstrate that. That's first and foremost. Second, we are really looking for people who have demonstrated the willingness, the desire, and the ability to make an impact, to contribute, to make a difference. Going back to our mission, we really want to tackle the world's biggest and most complex problems in order to make it a better place. And we want people in our programs who have demonstrated a desire and a willingness to do just that.
Right.
And third, we're really looking for people who work well in a team setting and have shown that. So much of the work that our students are going to do in the classroom, in the community, and once they graduate is with others as part of a team. It's really important for us that they show their ability to successfully do so.
Right. So I understand those 3, criteria that you look for from an applicant. But I still wanted to know whether there's any specific, value that you would value from students from emerging economies, just like Vietnam. Is there any advantage of those students?
Well, so I would argue that perhaps through their lived experiences, they are demonstrating to us their ability to make an impact. They're demonstrating to us persistence, perseverance, ability to potentially overcome obstacles and still be successful. These are all qualities that we really, really value. And that one could argue individuals who grew up in an emerging market may have had more opportunity with less opportunity. Actually, less opportunity provided to them provides them with more opportunity to show to us these qualities that I just mentioned.
Right, and but how could they do that? How could they demonstrate to you?
Got it. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. So we've actually designed our application to really provide individuals with the ability to share just that, their lived experience. Through the written application in particular, we actually have a question on our application itself that says, tell us about yourself, your family background. What was it? What was your life like? What were your lived experiences that contribute to you becoming the person you are today? We ask a very straightforward question on that particular topic.
Sure.
We also ask people if in fact they are the first person in their family to attend college or university, first generation. We also ask them to identify that as well for us. And in the actual, if they go to an interview, so as part of our process, there is an interview, it's face-to-face.
Yes.
It's now actually virtual.
Right.
We ask many questions that are what we call behavioral. And so we're asking, tell us about a time, tell us about maybe a situation. And so we're constantly giving people the opportunity to share with us things that they have done and have demonstrated that we believe help us really assess their ability to be successful at SLOAN.
Right. So first of all, it's a written application.
Correct.
And then secondly, it will be an interview.
Correct.
An online interview.
Virtual. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, a subset of individuals who submit a written application will be invited for an interview.
So it's always a dream for a student from an emerging economies like Vietnam and Southeast Asia to pursue a world-class education. But one of the challenges that they often face is the funding. So is there any types of scholarships or financial aid that's specifically given to opportunities to Vietnam students?
So we actually have funds for people from the region, for individuals from the ASEAN region.
Yeah.
We have a certain amount of fellowship. Now, it's, I think, enough to make a difference, but it's not, a full tuition. We tend not to be a school that offers full tuition fellowships or scholarships, but it's not insignificant. I hesitate to give an amount because it actually varies every year based on the budget that is provided to us. But I think a lot of this stems back to, the initiative that we just talked about with opening the office for the region. There's a lot of focus on this region from an MIT Sloan perspective, and having some dedicated fellowship, I think, is a great example of that.
Yeah, great. But, Ms. Hu, you've just shared with us, like Mr. Donna just said, about the initiatives that given for the region. But is there any, existing or future partnerships with companies or organizations in Vietnam that can support in providing assistance of funding?
In Vietnam, not yet in terms of companies, but I am definitely, that's one of the things that I'm very interested in doing, one of the reasons why I'm here. We have had our students come to Vietnam to do action learning for companies. So our action learning teams is almost like a little consultancy or a little mini, it's a sort of a consultancy versus internship, because our teams of students under the guidance of a faculty member in partnership with a sponsoring company will often have a defined question that they're trying to answer for the company. And they come, and before they come, they're actually doing a lot of research and work to prepare. And then they actually come and spend time with the company and then go back to school where they work on a presentation of a solution to the question. Okay. So that has been a very successful engagement for our students. I'm looking forward to meeting more people here in Vietnam, companies in Vietnam that are interested in some of the things that we could help with in terms of workforce development, for example. There's a lot of companies in Southeast Asia that's trying to basically upskill workforce for the digital economy or Gen AI that's getting integrated into their industries. How do they remain competitive? So all of the things that are business challenges, because we're a business school, we have faculty who are interested in working with these companies and students who are interested in learning with these companies.
So that is also considered as one of the activities outside the classroom, right? Or it's a requirement inside the course as well?
So our action learning labs are not a requirement for our MBA for most of our programs. I hesitate to say that because for our Master of Finance program, you are actually required to do one of these labs. It's called, well, you have a couple of options. And for our Masters in Business Analytics, you're actually working on a capstone project, which is actually a little bit of a longer version of one of these. But for our 2-year MBA or for our SLOAN Fellows, which is our executive MBA,
That's 1 year.
It's the 1 year,
right.
Exactly. For individuals who have on average 14 years of experience, they tend to have between 10 and 20 plus. For these two programs, while it's not a requirement, our students really love the format and tend to take one of these, at least one of these labs. They last the length of a semester. So they're either a fall course or a spring course.
So there's no age limit for the MIT Sloan Fellowship, is there?
The SLOAN Fellows program?
Yes.
So in general, we do not talk about age for any of our programs. There are no age limits for any of our programs.
Okay.
Now, having said that, different years of work experience, depending on where you are, it may make more sense for you to look into one program versus another. But that's all about work experience. It's not about age.
I want to add to that, though. This is going into the second year with respect to our ASEAN lab. We now have an ASEAN lab, a class, where they're studying this region. And as part of that class, we do have students who are coming to this region to do their lab work when they're taking that class. And it's a very popular class. It's oversubscribed.
Great. Interesting. And actually, global network and alumni support is one of the very strong network of any business school. So just share with us some of the leverage that MIT Sloan alumni can, support current students or the community and all that. Is there any unique opportunities for them?
Well, absolutely. So I want to say a couple of things. I want to say I think most profoundly, part of the reason why I am here today is in fact because of our alums. Alums who have really encouraged us to come to Vietnam and to host info sessions.
Hey,
it's something.
Happy to hear that.
Yes, very much so. The other thing I want to say is from an admissions standpoint, we rely heavily on alums to help us in the recruiting process as well as the conversion process, because we understand that candidates want to talk to admissions to learn about application deadlines and application tips. But when it comes to the MIT Sloan experience, they actually love to hear from current students and alums. And so we leverage that quite a bit and really rely on alums to help us share their own experiences.
About 20% of our audience is Vietnamese overseas in all over the world. So I'm not sure if this is a correct question, but is there any difference between Vietnamese students from Vietnam and Vietnamese origin that now resides in other countries to apply for MIT students?
Yeah, so that on the surface, there's absolutely no difference. They may have had different experiences as a result that then contributes to, how they present themselves in an application.
Right.
But simply someone from Vietnam living somewhere else, that on its own, no difference.
Right, understood. Okay, Ms. Donna and Ms. Sue, thank you very much for sharing your MIT Sloan visions and plan in Vietnam, and I look forward to seeing the school's continued contribution to, innovation, education, and philanthropic in Vietnam and beyond.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
so much.